Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Me.
And Jason.
And tonight, we are at the Bates Motel.
I think your thing cut out on me for a
The-
second there, Jim. You were so explosive with energy, I guess.
The Bates Motel. As we watch Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho, which has one of the original Scream Queens in it for an all of 30 seconds. Well, the mother of one of the original Scream Queens. But that is besides the point. Take it. Jamie Lee Curtis's mom. Yeah.
All right, she played You're over exaggerating with the 30 seconds.
Probably. But still, it's got the mother of the original Scream Queen.
Hey, look, Scream 7 release date, cast, plot, and everything else we know so far. Sorry, I'm getting on the Twitch, and that was the first thing that popped up. Oh, goodness.
Well, Jason, take it away to the Bates Motel.
Oh, well, about this movie, Jeremy, it's a classic. It's one of those founding films that, and we apologize for the long draw out for this.
Yeah,
We always have all sorts of issues.
The storm took me to the Bates Motel.
Yeah, we had storms, we had technical issues. But yeah, so I mean, classic horror movie in the sense of the word. Nice little twists and turns in there. It's based off of a book. And there's quite a few of them, and I'm not entirely sure how close to the source material it is. I think I know. I think the ending is different. I think the ending's different on that front. But I did pick this one because Jeremy did kind of get the ball rolling when we did White Zombie.
I know. I started the black and whites.
Well, I mean, I've been.
And now that's what we're gonna do: black and whites for a while.
Actually, I think the next one might be in color. Sorry, Jeremy.
How dare you!
Hey, don't look at me. It's like a 20-year difference. I actually do think. I think the movie actually is about 26 years. Huh?
You said how long?
I think it's about 26. You can double check me on that, but I think it's about 26 years, and we have the same Norman Bates, and they actually do like a 26-year or however much time gap in it. He's been in this institute for that many years, and then he goes back out into society. But let us talk about the plot, Jeremy. Now, like I said,
before we even do that, I just read across this fact that is great.
Yeah.
Walt Disney refused to allow Sir Alfred Hitchcock to film at Disneyland in the early 60s because he made this disgusting movie. That is exactly what Walt Disney said.
My God, times have changed. You know that? I know there's an interesting fact. I think that the shot of the toilet and her like tearing up that piece of paper, Marion Crane tearing up that piece of paper and throwing it in the toilet and flushing it. That is the first time that I guess like the inside of the toilet was ever filmed, because that was kind of like a big. That may be why it's a big, disgusting movie or whatever. Because There's a lot of stuff in this movie that wasn't technically really allowed on film. So,
So, two things. One,
Mhm.
every theater that showed this movie had a cardboard cutout installed in the lobby of Sir Alfred Hitchcock, pointing at his wristwatch with a note saying the manager of this theater has been instructed at the risk of his life not to admit to the theater any persons after the picture starts. Any spurious attempts to enter by side doors, fire escapes, or ventilating shafts will be met by force. The entire objective of this extraordinary policy, of course, is to help you enjoy Psycho more. Then,
Wow, that's a lot.
then, this movie was actually shot in black and white while movies were being shot in color at the same time. It was shot in black and white because he thought it would be too gory in color, but the main reason is to make the movie as inexpensively as possible. He also wondered if so many bad, inexpensively made black and white B movies did so well at the box office, what would happen if a really good, inexpensively made black and white movie was made? He chose to make this in black and white.
Well, that's good. I mean, I don't think this movie would have really worked any other way. I mean, we're gonna get to see Psycho in color, and not that good from what I understand. It's considered one of the worst remakes ever made. But so the movie starts off with Marion Crane. She works at a like a what was that place she was working at?
She was working at a car, I think a car lot. No, it was a real estate.
Real estate. Yeah, 'cause, she went to the car lot. I thought for a brief second, I thought it was a bank because she was handling so much money. That Texas guy came in there and dropped all that cash on her and was just like hitting on her. But mind you, she is allowed to take like really long lunch break, like really long.
Oh man, she was on that lunch break for at least 2.5 hours.
Yeah, so that's quite a lunch break you got there. And so she ended up getting all this money, and she decides she's gonna take it, and she's gonna go on the run. Why? Not entirely sure. And is she good at it? No, not really. She is the most conspicuous thief ever.
Very much so.
She's paranoid about everything. She was always looking like deer in headlights. Uh, mm, she fell asleep on the highway.
Oh
Pulled
yeah,
the car over and fell asleep on the highway, and the cop came up, and she's like, "Oh, am I in trouble? Can I just go?"
yeah, but I get it. Like, it's not illegal. It's actually better, you know. You don't see the signs nowadays. Driving while drowsy, just as bad as
Well,
driving drunk.
yeah, but I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to just park on the highway.
If you're
Pretty sure that's why
drowsy,
you got
you are.
You just pull over off the interstate and fall asleep.
Yeah, because they would
That's
rather
a,
you do that than drive drowsy.
tell
But
you to move your butt to a rest area.
But here's the cool thing.
That's
So
funny.
you said earlier that this was based off a novel, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the novel for this book, plus two movies made in 1974 and one movie made in 1991, were all based off of the exact same thing. Just different ways, different parts of it.
Right. So you're telling me that the first two movies are based off the first book?
Well, the novel upon which this movie was based on was inspired by the true story of somebody, which also was the inspiration for two other movies in 1974 and one movie in 1991. I'll give you
No,
six
don't tell
guesses
me.
to
Don't-
guess the
don't tell me.
movies.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and is it American Psycho?
No. You got one right. The Texas
There's
Chainsaw Massacre. Can you guess the other two movies? One
the
other
other
one in
two.
74 and one in 91.
Oh,
And a bonus point if you can guess who it's based off of.
uh, was it like Ed Gein?
There's your that is your story. Yes.
Well,
Real
that's my bonus. That's my bonus thing.
that is your bonus question, which I watched the documentary on Netflix for that. That was fantastic.
Well, I mean,
But there are two
I
other
don't.
movies that were
I
also
think.
inspired by Ed Gein.
Okay, go ahead and hit me. I'm not entirely sure. I thought it was.
Deranged, which came out in
Yeah,
1974.
yeah, I never heard that one.
Silence of the Lambs.
Uh, yeah, I think I remember that one popping up on one of my thing. The guy who trying to remember. I think the guy who wrote the book wasn't. I don't think he was actually trying to base it off of Ed Gein. I think he was just using like little things here, little things there before everything kind of went in the direction that it did, and then by the time he finished the book or whatever, and then they had the trial and stuff, and he realized, wow, my book actually is my Norman Bates is actually relatively closer to this guy than anticipated. I mean, though there was a lot of other stuff that he had done. Jeremy, Jeremy. Um, so Marion's Crane's on the run. She stops at a car dealership, trades her car out real fast, and makes it to the Bates Motel. Has to stop because there's a big storm in the Bates Motel, and we are introduced to Norman Bates. What do you what character wise? What do you think of Norman?
Um, I love the Norman Bates character. I
Love
feel
Norman.
like he has brought on Anthony. First off, Anthony Perkins did phenomenal. Like just outstanding. Full on fantastic. But I feel like it has the way he portrayed this character, because first off in the book he's portrayed as some fat, unlikable, disgusting person.
Yeah,
But
yep,
it
I
was
remember
Alfred
that.
Hitchcock who decided to change that up and make him this more handsome, personable person to make him more
Mm-hmm.
likable. And
Mm-hmm.
I think I think he did a fantastic job with it. It You can definitely see like where other movies have kind of tapped into that to be
Making like
making the killer
yeah.
likable.
See when I can. I'm not gonna go saying spoiler alert or anything because this movie is. It's been the people have seen this movie all over the place, and we all know that Norman's mom is dead at this point, and he's always talking about her, and um, it's actually a persona.
Split
They kind of,
personality.
yep. It's and they, I think the ending of it. I think the ending of the movie is.
PJ says she's beyond dead.
Yes, that is true. She is well beyond dead. Um, but I think the end of the movie just really kind of does all the explaining for you. You know, it doesn't let you sit there and kind of, oh my goodness, what could this be? It goes, no, 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 no. Let me tell you exactly what happened. Da 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 da.
Well,
And you know,
let's just show me because that's actually my favorite scene.
Oh, that's your favorite scene, huh?
It is, because it originally was going to be showing him dressed as his mom, but I like this one better. I do.
Watching me. Well, let them. Let them see what kind of a person I am. I'm not even going to swat that fly. I hope they are watching. They'll see. They'll see and they'll know. And they'll say, why, she wouldn't even harm a fly.
That line right there. She wouldn't even harm a fly. I think I think that's what truly captivates it the most, because it's that split personality of his mom wouldn't actually do the harming, he's doing it, but she's the one telling him to. But no one's going to believe him that she's telling him to because she's dead.
Yeah. I mean, there's been I don't we're gonna go through this whole franchise of movies. We got Psychos 1 through 4. If we can find it, there's gonna be like the Bates Motel TV movie, which is a direct sequel to the first movie. So we're gonna have some Halloween timeline shifting going on. And then we have the Psycho remake. And to be quite honest,
And
I
American
actually like it.
Psycho.
American Psycho. That's not part of this franchise.
His name is Norman Bates.
No, no, it's not.
Yeah, it's all based off the same thing. It's all good.
His name is Patrick Bates. That's a different franchise. We'll get into that and the terrible sequel afterwards. But I can't even hear you, Jeremy.
We're going to watch him kill Jared Leto. It's okay.
Okay, I'm getting really good at reading lips, so American Psycho is okay.
No, that's not what I said. I said,
Okay.
we're going to watch him kill
Jared Leto. Oh yes. Oh, that's because. Oh, that's the Batman murdering the
Joker.
before he becomes Joker. Yeah. So So yes, I think having Norman be like this is a much more, I guess, shocking moment when the actual famous shower scene happens, which is kind of funny because they portray Marion as like this main character, and then like halfway through the movie they just kill her off. I think that for a lot of people was like the shocking moment. Why can I not hear you? Yeah, you got mic issues. You got mic issues. It's not me this time. It is so you. I mean, unless other people can hear you, and it's just me then. But I don't know. Maybe I still have issues going on over here. No, see, I can hear you there.
Huh.
You know.
That's weird. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Uh, I don't know. Idiot. What was I? God dang. What was I gonna say?
So, yeah. So Marion gets killed off. Famous shower scene.
Oh yeah, that's what I loved about the movie. The fact that half of it was up to her dying, and the other half is figuring out who killed her.
Yeah, and you know, you got like the way the movie's portrayed and the way they talk about it, and like I said, when we get to the later movies, maybe it'll explain it a little bit better. Now, I know. Did you ever watch Bates Motel, like the TV series?
The first like 2 episodes, 3 maybe.
Okay, I was in
I
the process of.
I do know the actor who plays Norman Bates also plays in The Good Doctor, so I know the actor very well.
Yeah, Freddie Highmore, High something. Um,
He does a good job.
it actually gets really, really interesting because it is another. I guess you could think of it as a parallel universe type of thing. It's its own thing. At first, I was thinking it was kind of a build up into like the first movie, but I think one of the last season they actually kind of recreate the events of the first movie. But uh, it's interesting to watch because you actually do get to see his mom. You know, his mom plays like a pivotal role in the show itself, and that's the thing that in this movie, you know, first of all, first of all, they're very loud talkers because he's up in his house and he's doing the mom voice and his voice and they're just talking and she can hear him from the motel down the way. She's just staying outside like, wow, they're really talking it up. And it's implied that uh, you know, of course Norman and his mom had such a connection and it is essentially, like the whole mama's boy type thing, right? And um, to a certain extent, I don't know if they pressed it that far, but it was from a lot of sources. They say it was borderline like incestuous, right? And what had happened was, they explained how his mom died with her boyfriend, or I don't think she ever actually got married the second time. I know
No.
she was married. She was married to Norman's dad. They had Norman, and then the dad died, and then it was just him and her for a while, and then she ended up getting the boyfriend or whatever, and I think they actually talked about marrying or whatever, and he ended up poisoning them and killing them,
Yeah,
and that was
similar to the Michael Myers incident, instead of, poisoning his mom and her boyfriend, he stabs his sister and her boyfriend.
yeah. Well, the problem is with Michael's just evil.
I saw
Michael
this
is just
boy with eyes of nothing, of pure evil, no right or wrong. I just watched that movie last night. It's October. Like, for everyone who doesn't know, every day in the month of October I watch a horror movie. It's been a tradition for the last like 4 years of mine. I always start with the exact same one. October 1st, I start with the OG John Carpenter Halloween. It's so great. Anyway, back to what we were talking
well,
about.
just saying that like now I don't know about anyone else out there and how they feel, but I think Norman is kind of a product of his environment. You
It
know, I
it
mean,
begs a
because
question of nature versus nurture.
yeah,
And
I don't. I think if he was raised in kind of a normal situation, then he would be normal, possibly. Which is kind of funny because
what is
his
normal?
name's Norman. His name is Norman. His mom's name is Norma,
What
and
was his dad's
quite a,
name? Normandy?
well, the relationship that they had must not have been normal. So, but when he out of this jealousy that he had for his mom or whatnot, he ended up poisoning them both, and then that's when the mom persona kind of kicked in and um, allowed him to believe that his mom was alive, and to kind of, I guess, hide. I guess it was his breaking point. It was preventing that mom persona was preventing him from realizing what he had done, you know, and um, she
Well,
just kind of takes over when she wants,
it's
and
it's classic split personality syndrome. So, um essentially what happens is in split personality syndrome, it doesn't matter how many personas there are. For example, let's not look at Norman. Let's just, if you look at a normal, like a case of somebody who's got 3 personalities, right? You have personalities A, which is the main one. Then you have B and C. B and C know exactly about A, B, and C. B knows about C. C knows about B. They both know about A. A has no idea that B and C even exist. So Norman has 2 personalities. He has his and his mom's. His mom personality knows about his personality, but his personality, his main one, doesn't know the mom one exists. When it takes over, it's almost like he falls asleep. The main one just falls asleep. He doesn't remember anything. It's almost like he has insomnia. Or not insomnia. What's the word I'm thinking of?
Narcolepsy? Is it narc?
No. When you can't remember anything. Oh God. Amnesia. Basically, his main personality has amnesia when the mom personality takes over. It's the same for anybody who has split personality disorders. When one of the other ones take over, the main one has amnesia. They don't even know it exists, and typically they never know until somebody tells them, hey, this is what happens. And they're like, I don't remember any of that. Well, this is why. It's kind of like that episode of Psych.
Yeah, I was just about to actually reference that. There was
that dude who would dress up like his wife or whatever.
Oh yeah, he would dress up as it wasn't his wife. It was like a female personality that was trying to, I guess, be the main one. It was trying to get like the sex change and stuff like that.
That's essentially what's happening here. Is when his mom personality takes over, the Norman personality just falls asleep and has amnesia.
Yeah, that's why he's always. That's why when he it's always that he's cleaning up after. It seems like, and they hold off that reveal until like the very end of the movie, of course, and they reference the mom being up in the house or whatnot. You can kind of see her in the window. The famous shower scene where he opens up the curtain, you see like the bathrobe and the wig, and he's stabbing Marion. And when the private investigator comes in and sneaks into the house or whatever's going upstairs, they do that really awesome top-down shot. I thought was really cool. And it's probably one of the creepier scenes because this movie's not like extremely scary. I mean, maybe when it came out at the time, people were all like, "Oh my God, it's so scary." But they did have this really cool scene that I like, where it's kind of like you see like the private investigator, he's coming up the stairs, and you see Norman and his mom persona. He's got the wig and the bathrobe or whatever on. But it's done at an angle that you can't tell it's him. And he comes out the door, and then he stabs the guy, and the guy falls down, and then... So you never get to see the face until Marion's sister and Marion's boyfriend, or whoever you want to call him. They're also trying to track her down. And they go to the motel, and they break into the house because everyone breaks into other people's houses in these movies. Why Leatherface was so adamant on
I know.
wander into his house.
So it's funny that you brought up Leatherface because we talked about that while we were watching this movie, and it makes me think like he was in the right, man. These kids are just wandering into his house like.
Okay, well, I mean.
You're breaking and entering into my place, like no trespassing. Bye.
I would give like Leatherface like a partial. He's on the right because it is kind of breaking and entering. Just because your front door's open don't mean you can just wander in. But meat hooks and chopping them up and turning them into chili is not really the right answer. Yeah, you could probably hit him with a hammer if you feel threatened enough, but actually, Leatherface and Norman Bates here. It's kind of funny. They're both like sympathetic characters in a way.
Yeah, because Leatherface. Okay, when people think of Leatherface, they think of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But if you actually watch the movie, you realize that he's just being controlled by his family.
Yeah,
the family runs the entire thing, except for the Matthew McConaughey one where they're like,
yeah, we're gonna get to those movies too. But yeah, Leatherface is a lot just like he's mentally a child is what he is.
Yeah,
and he's just a big child, and his brothers. They were his brothers.
In the original, it was his brothers.
Yeah, they were just
and Grandpa.
And Grandpa.
Grandpa's the best.
He's the best at killing. I don't think they were outright like abusive in a way, but they did like yell at him a lot and kind of smack him around if he didn't.
They were very manipulative.
Yes.
They knew how to manipulate him. And then in the remakes, it turns out it's not his brother. It's like his uncle.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of changed stuff up.
Which,
that timeline gets confusing.
When we get to that, I'll talk about it more. But I will say, in the remake, oh my God, what's that actor's name? He's in Full Metal Jacket as well.
Ernie something.
He played that role. Mwah. Like, yeah. He was like such a good bad guy.
He's like one of those guys that you actually just absolutely hate.
But he's so good at it. You can't help but love it. You hate him so much. But you're like, you're so good at this role.
And it's funny because it's like, I remember the shower scene, and I remember like I don't remember watching this movie in its entirety and really knowing Norman Bates, his like mannerisms and stuff. And just when he shows up on camera the first time, you're just like, oh, look at that guy. I like that guy. He's a nice he's a nice guy. Look at him. He's got this like little goofy like little thing about him. He's kind of I don't want to call it a nerd, but he's kind of got this shy timidness to him. And he's always eating like the candy corn or whatever. Yeah. I was gonna have me a bag of candy corn, but I never got around to getting it. I was just gonna like he's just hitting out his porch or whatever. But yeah, he's just one of those sympathetic characters that's just and they don't really, like I said, you don't get a whole lot of explaining in this one, except towards like the very end where they explain the whole split personality thing or whatever, and how mom personality is finally completely taken over and whatnot, which
I loved that scene. I did. I loved the entire thing from when the psychologist came in and talked about it.
Yeah, and I mean, he explains a lot and tries to get the audience up to cue with it, but to me, especially after 26 years in this movie, it's kind of funny. They go, yeah, the mom persona is completely taken over. There's no more Norman in that one. And then like 26 years later, after he's been in the institute, he comes out Norman. So, thanks for that. But I don't think they were expecting to actually make a movie 26 years later, or however long ago it was.
It's one of those sequels that probably didn't need to be made.
But ironically, it's not one of those ones that are awful.
I've actually never seen the second Psycho movie.
I didn't know there was a second one. I didn't know there was a third one or a fourth one.
Way to go.
Anthony Perkins is in all of them.
Hey, man, more power to him. He ready to go.
Well, I mean, I think...
He gonna take Norman Bates to the grave.
No, Vince Vaughn did that one.
Oh Lord, which one is he in?
He's in the remake. He's in the.
Oh God,
Which is kind of funny because he is a Vince Vaughn. What, did you completely forget about that movie?
I completely forgot Vince Vaughn is in that movie.
Yeah, Vince Vaughn's in that one. What's her name?
I can only see my mother. Like, I can't see my mother doing this, but I can see me doing this, but I can't see my mother doing this. I mean, can you see my mother doing this? Because I can't see.
This is like a younger Vince Vaughn. So we're not like Wedding Crashers Vince Vaughn yet.
Where he's just like, all he does is just back and forth with himself. So we're like Lost World Vince Vaughn.
No, I think earlier than that.
Domestic Disturbance Vince Vaughn?
Quite possibly. I can't remember when the movie actually came out.
Oh, I wonder if that's a horror movie. Random tangent.
Well, you can always look it up afterwards. It came out in '98. The remake did. It's got.
That's so long after.
Here you go, Jeremy. Jeremy, you ready for this cast list?
Yes.
Is
it as good as David Schwimmer and Stab?
No, this movie is actually considered one of the worst remakes ever made. And it's really ironic. It's really ironic that is the case because apparently the Psycho remake is a shot-for-shot remake of the original.
Oh God, here we go.
Like the camera guy, the camera crew stuff, they studied the original movie and how the camera angles were, and they, from what I understand, that's what they did. Shot the movie exactly the same. So it has to be the acting, but that's strange because this cast list, Jeremy, this cast list, we're running off on a tangent. But you got Vince Vaughn. I think it was Anne Heche.
Luke Wilson.
You got Julianne Moore.
Oh wow.
Viggo Mortensen. William H. Macy.
Oh God. We're going. What's that show he's in? Oh God. That God. Oh my God. Shameless.
Shameless, yeah. Yeah, but
I mean,
so we got looking for. Hey, Nightmare on Elm Street. What remakes have we done on this show?
On this one specifically, we've done the Nightmare on Elm Street. We've done Friday the 13th. We did Willard. That was a good one.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that. Oh my God, that Full Metal Jacket was in that one too. He had hair in that one.
Robert E. Lee, or not Robert E. Lee.
Robert E. Lee. Robert E. Lee. No.
Oh my God! I can't believe I said. Yeah, it's Robert E. Lee. It's all good.
It's all good. So I'm. So that's. Oh, we did it.
We did do it.
And I think Psycho is going to be the worst remake. I think.
I don't know, man. We've done some pretty crappy remakes.
Well, I don't remember too many remakes though, Jeremy. That's the thing. It wasn't that bad, except for maybe the ending of part 2.
Part 2, the ending was trash, but part 1, the remake was absolutely fantastic from beginning to end. I loved part 1.
Okay, technically, would that be considered a remake or a new adaptation?
Shut your dirty stinking potholes. It's a remake.
There's a difference. Hey, we'll take it up to a
it's
vote.
Arlie Ermery, by the way. Arlie Ermy. He plays Sheriff
We'll
Hoyt.
We'll take a vote for people out there. Do you think the It movie parts 1 and 2 is a remake of the miniseries or a new adaptation to the book?
Okay.
We'll let people.
Look.
Yeah. Oh, we didn't get any of that.
Okay,
But-
Wheezy.
Okay. You know what? We are not on Psycho anymore. Yeah. So.
Oh God, I love that. Oh man, you know that's still one of our top viewed movies. Our videos on YouTube is still It Part 1. That and Resident Evil Extinction. But
we're doing something where some of them just spike so high that it's like 11 views. What do you mean 11? Just 11. 1100? Nope, just 11. Okay, so 3 because I've watched it like 9 times already. I mean, we've had bad remakes. Like I'd say Nightmare on Elm Street was probably one of the worst ones, but I don't think, in my opinion,
it was hit and miss. There were parts of that one that were good. There were parts of it that were bad.
I think the things that I can appreciate with that one is that it did add something. It added like the micro naps.
I liked
they're
that
not
idea.
they're not just trying to pump themselves full of drugs and keep themselves awake. It's like literally this movie. It's like literally if you stay awake at X amount of time, your brain will shut off no matter what you do. It's going to get that.
Now, I will say one of the best remakes that we've seen on the channel is the Friday the 13th remake.
I think Friday was really good.
God, I loved that movie. It was so good.
It did a lot on its own. I know Willard was really good, surprisingly.
Okay, so I never watched Willard before the podcast, believe it or not, but I did think the remake was actually really good.
I liked
all of it, but the remake was better than I expected.
Yeah, I think that's just because it had Full Metal Jacket and McFly's dad.
Arlie Emery is just
Emery.
Ermy.
That's what I thought. I was like Ermy. Why do you keep saying Emery?
I don't know. Like, they always put him in the bad guy role, and it's always just perfect.
Well, I mean, you're gonna see him. We're gonna one of these days when I get around to it, we're gonna do The Frighteners. I love that movie. That's a fun early.
You cut out on me. You still cut out on me. You're off completely right now. You're just completely gone. Just completely gone.
Light.
There you go.
Got lights.
You know what's funny, Jason, though? Is we talk about Arlie Ermy.
Mm-hmm.
And all those bad characters that he plays. You know.
Oh, it's just let you know he's not in this movie.
No.
He's brought up in this movie.
But, you know, he plays in the video game, he plays the voice of the Sergeant in Disney's Magic Kingdoms.
The Sergeant, like what
I don't know, he's just a voice, but it's funny as crap because he plays a good guy.
I think Sergeant was the little toy soldier in Toy Story.
For anybody who doesn't know who he is, yes, he does play a lot of bad guys. He was in a lot of war movies because he's prior Marine Corps. One of his most famous roles was Full Metal Jacket, if anybody's ever seen it. I have personally. About 90% of his lines in that movie were improv. And he just, they basically told him, go back to being a drill sergeant and go. And that's what he did. So like 90% of that movie is, until he gets killed off, is improv.
Now we're gonna get a bunch of people in our comments going, hey, you guys talking about Psycho? We talked about
but we'll get to him later.
But the funny thing is that in Psycho, they actually do show the bomb. We see what happens to the mom. Apparently, he's carrying her around. It's funny because she stays up in the room. And he's like, "Oh no, people are asking too many questions. I gotta put you." And it's because I don't know if he's doing the voice too. What's that face for?
They're asking too many questions. No, these people like home invasion.
Well,
These
yeah,
aren't good guys. They're breaking and entering.
Okay, technically that one guy was a private investigator, so.
He's still breaking and entering. And so is her sister.
Well, if people start knocking on the door. This is.
Hello? I'm looking for Norman Bates' mom. Hello? There is a Norman's mom on this Bates Motel tour, correct? Hello?
No, there's not. No, because she's dead, Sammy. She is a mummified corpse in the fruit cellar.
You mean this right here?
Yes.
Mrs. Bates.
Okay, believe it or not, my original first scene was the ending to this scene, so I'm so glad I let it carry on, because my original favorite scene was when Norman comes in there dressed as a woman going...
That's like how she just slapped that lamp.
Pcha!
But I like the fact that that was kind of the big reveal, because at this point in time, you're thinking Norman's mom is running around killing people. But I like how she leans over. She kind of touches her on the shoulder. Mrs. Bates. She kind of touches her, and the chair's just like.
Oh, I know.
It just turns all
It's
around.
literally like this. Hold up. I got this. Oh crap. Hold up. Uno momento, por favor.
You got to get your cords and whatnot out of the way.
Yeah. Hold up. It's like this. Mrs. Bates?
It's the well-oiled chair. I was actually planning on starting this podcast. In a wig and a bathrobe, but I don't have a wig. At least not a gray wig yet. I'm gonna find one though. By the end of this series, there's gonna be me in a gray wig with a bathrobe.
Oh, I'll dress in a suit. I'll be Norman Bates. It's okay.
He doesn't wear a suit.
That's
got like a turtle.
That's a suit right there, homie.
Let me see. There's not really a suit. That's like a button-up shirt with a jacket on. It's not a suit. There ain't no tie.
Same. Close enough. I'll wear that. It's all good. I'll find me a turtleneck. Slick my hair over.
Turtleneck, Jeremy.
I've never worn a turtleneck in my life, but I'll wear one for this. It's all good.
I wore a turtleneck. I had that
Well,
one when I was Negative Man that one year at Pensacon. I had the turtleneck thing going on.
let's.
And then everyone kept coming up to me going,
Are you Hush?
Are you the Invisible Man? Yes, that's exactly what I am. I am
You got
I'm the
Invisible
main
Man and you got Hush before you got Negative Man.
Negative Man. I am Negative Man was the character from Doom Patrol, which was on TV at the time. But no, I was the Universal monster, the Invisible Man.
Or the one from, the random animated cartoon movies, Hush.
Yeah, that is true too.
Well, let's see what everybody else thought of Psycho. So,
It was disgusting.
on the scale of 1 to 10 on IMDb with 731,000 votes.
On a scale of 1 to 10?
1 to 10.
Boys, no fight. What are we fighting for? What are we fighting, Jeremy?
You gotta fight for your rights to kill for mom.
You got for your right to kill for mom. I'm gonna go with darn it, hold on. Let me get my thing up here. I'm gonna go with a high 8.7. How about that? Ooh. No. Better yet, I'm taking that away. Scramble that. Boom, boom, boom. I'm giving it a 9.5.
Raven's giving it a 6.
I'm gonna give it. Hold on. I'm gonna give it a 9.95.
You might as well just go 9.99.
This has been 9.99. This has been the best. It's one of my favorite movies.
It's really good. It is really good.
It's funny because I really never thought about it. Because, like I said, I never actually sat down and just watched the movie. I always saw snippets here, snippets there, famous shower scene. Which, when Jeremy asks me, he goes, before we're setting these. That white zombie out of here. But when usually before we start these things, Jeremy will usually go, "Hey, what's your favorite scene?" And I told him, I said, the mom reveal when she's, when the actual corpse.
PJ, we're still waiting on your vote, by the way.
And I was like, because the shower scene is too famous because everybody's seen it.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally Jamie Lee Curtis's mom screaming.
Well, it's not just that. It's the fact that is like the big twist in the entire movie. You're following this character around, wondering what she's going to be doing with this money. And whatever happened to the money, Jeremy? Didn't it just go in the back of the car and into the swamp water?
It did.
So if you think about it, the whole first half of her stealing the money had no point. Except she stole the money, and it leads into this.
But that's what makes it great, because she was running from that weird, creepy Western guy who was like, "Hey, baby,
yeah, he was
you
like,
come work for me."
Why did you go Johnny Bravo on us?
Hey there, foxy mama.
Yeah, I don't think PJ's responding.
Well,
PJ.
It's all good because she's missing out. You know why?
She's gonna be sliding in with a.
You know why, Jason? Because you are that private investigator. Stabbed and falling down the stairs. Ah!
They have that really weird, awkward camera angle where he's pretty much just walking backwards, and then the camera's just doing this like weird background thing. Yeah, that I'm gonna admit, some of the effects in this are either really genius or they're just not that good afterwards.
PJ, you're too late. Raven already said 6, and it's too late because I've already started.
I should get throw one in here. Just make it less than 99 or 9.99. Just make it less than 9.99. Jeremy hasn't get. We know 99's too high. So.
That's like me. That's like me when I get to Halloween and I'm like, it's a 10 out of 10. I don't care.
Yeah, but I think like maybe that camera angle where he's falling down the stairs looks kind of silly, but you can kind of maybe interpret that as in he just got stabbed in the chest and he's just kind of like in shock, and the whole thing's just kind of like a Vertigo type thing, which is another Hitchcock movie.
Well, PJ and Ravenfire, we'll leave you together. With the 6s together. It was an 8.5 out of 10.
8.5. I was close the first time. I was 8.7.
Honestly, you were closer than both of them. But close only works in horseshoes and hand grenades. This is Price is Right rules, man.
And we only play with one of those. And horseshoes are too expensive.
Exactly. Now, let's go to the psychometer.
Dun, 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 dun.
On a scale of 0 to 100, how did critics rate Alfred Hitchcock's first attempt at a horror movie with Psycho?
This is not a horror movie. This is stylized.
And I found out Domestic Disturbance, Jason, is crime and thriller. So no watching Vince Vaughn and oh my god, I'm drawing a mind blank. He's in all the Adam Sandler movies too. Steve Buscemi.
Steve Buscemi's in there?
Yeah, he plays like a very small role. He dies, but he's in it.
Oh god, spoiler alert.
You've never seen that movie?
I think I've seen bits and pieces of it.
It's a John Travolta, Vince Vaughn movie. It's actually pretty good.
That's the other guy I say, John Travolta.
I know. Nicolas Cage, John Travolta, Face Off.
Oh, that's
Mwah. God, that's epitome of cinema right there. Mwah.
No, Jeremy. Broken Arrow.
That's Christian Slater and John Travolta.
Face Off. I meant Face Off.
That's what I mean. Face Off is mwah, epitome. Nicolas Cage acting like John Travolta and John Travolta acting like Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
God, it's
all I know is that Steve Buscemi he's doing the voice for Starscream in Transformers 1, so there you go.
Oh Lord.
Why?
Nick. Are you talking about Nick from New Girl?
No, Cage.
Oh. Lame.
Nicolas Cage, Jeremy?
Oh. She spelled Nick wrong.
She just typed in Nick.
I don't care. It's Nicolas Cage. 'Cause I'm Nicolas Cage. Alright, guys. I'm going to talk like Nicolas Cage for the rest of this podcast.
No, we're not. You're going to do it when we do a Nicolas Cage horror movie, like
Long Legs?
What? Oh, Willy's Wonderland.
That too.
You can do that with.
Okay, if I'm gonna reenact Nicolas Cage from Willy's Wonderland, Jason, I'm not gonna say a single word the entire podcast.
Cool, I'll carry it on my shoulders.
I'm just gonna take random breaks from the camera and go play video games.
Jeremy he's got like a pinball machine in the back, and Jeremy just get up and start
drinking an energy.
Drinking that. You could just get a bunch of like grape sodas.
It's important to take breaks.
I was rooting for your team, and you're gonna squabble about his spelling.
Yes, because Nicolas Cage is a national treasure. He played Superman.
So true, Crunch Can. She knows.
God, that movie. I think it was PJ who, when we watched that movie, like she was like, I can't take Nicolas Cage not talking. Is he gonna say anything the entire movie?
That movie, I think, is an accidental awesome movie. I don't think it's as good as it out to be, but it's just awesome. It's an oxymoron.
Okay. All right. PJ says 90.5. Jason, you said 90. Ravenfire said 85. Okay. I've only got like one other person to kill off in this movie.
So we all better just hope to.
So Raven and Jason, you are both.
No.
I'm out of people.
You got two people, Jeremy. One of us has to be Mama.
Mama's already dead. She don't count.
We know how she died, though.
All right, fine. You know what? Jason, your mama's boyfriend. Ravenfire, yo mama. Y'all both get poisoned.
Okay, so.
It was a 97%. PJ beat you by 0.5.
Yeah. I see how it is. Oh.
Go, PJ. It's your birthday. Beat him by 0.5.
Mother.
Yeah, it fits perfectly. Raven, you're the mother. You died from poison. Jason, you're the boyfriend. Died from poison. Look at that. Dying together.
No, I don't know if she's referencing that she's the mother or if she's referencing that movie. Oh my God, what was that movie?
Really? When I read it, I think of Mother. Ooh.
No, it's it's the same Channing Tatum movie. Jupiter Descending. Is it Jupiter Ascending? Descending? I don't remember. It's Jupiter something, and they got the guy. I think he plays like he plays in those new Harry Potter movies, the Fantastic Beasts and whatnot. But every time, Jupiter's Ascending, yes, and whenever he talks, he talks kind of like this, and he always mentions mother, and he says mother. And they just think it's the worst thing ever, so I do it around here all the time. Just like, can I get something to eat, mother? And they're like, yeah, no, go get your own food. You're done. Go.
Well, let's see what the audience thought of Psycho.
He plays Newt. I don't know those characters. Like, I can only tell like Harry Potter because he's got a thingy on his forehead.
Harry Potter.
Yeah, that kid too, because he's a jerk.
Famous Harry Potter. Can't walk into a bookstore without making the front page. You gotta emphasize your P's and your B's.
Yeah, you keep doing that. You blow the speakers out of my ears. Every time you did a P or a B there or whatever, it was just like, books. Potter. It's like the sound couldn't just keep up.
That's because, like I said, that's because
96.5. You can't. I swear. There's gonna be fighting on here. You want to see some fighting?
Well.
No, she changed it to a 92. Telling you. Actually, I think this has probably been one of our
Jason?
more energy. I swear to God, Jeremy.
You're Marion.
Ah, great. Well, at least I have a famous death.
Ravenfire, I ran out of people. You're the car sunken in the swamp.
To say that. Just the car got pushed into the it's like this. And the candy corn.
No, PJ, or no, Raven, you are not that. You're that bird that's in the background of our picture. You're all the aminals that he has stuffed.
Oh, yes, he likes taxidermy.
You're all the taxidermied aminals.
I think she actually prefers the car.
No, you're the taxidermied aminals.
Now, we didn't know those animals, Jeremy. We don't know how they died, so they don't count.
No, they're dead. They're dead. I don't care. They're dead.
We know exactly.
She's the taxidermied aminals. PJ, you won. It was a 95%.
Look at that. This movie made 90s across the board. I'm very proud of this movie.
It was very good. But that is all the time we have for tonight. As we come in next week with Psycho 2, we hopefully will not have any technical difficulties or weather that I had. Yeah, I had a hurricane that decided it didn't want to be a hurricane anymore.
Yeah. I forgot about that when they pushed the car in there and started doing the slow thing, blah, 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 and then it just stopped. He's just like, and it's just like, blah, blah, blah. Yes, it's
But
stuff.
Next week is Psycho 2, which came out apparently 28 years later, which is way too long.
28?
Which is way too long for a sequel to come out. Actually, no, it's 23. Psycho came out in 60. This came out in 83. But it's still way too long for a sequel to come out because, well, this is Hollywood, and all they can do is sequels, remakes, reboots.
But from what I understand, it's not a bad sequel. It's actually probably a pretty good one. So.
Well, we will find out. We will see you all next week, same time, same Bates Motel.
Yeah, we're not gonna be checking out anytime soon. But once Vince Vaughn comes on board, we'll be clocking out and going home as fast as possible.
We will see y'all next week.
Next week with Psycho 2.
I have a petition here signed by 743 people against Norman Bates' release.
Madam, please sit down. This matter is being represented by the district attorney.
Norman was not convicted of murder. He was found not guilty by reason of insanity.
Don't you realize they're going to release a homicidal maniac?
You to sit down, Mrs. Loomis.
It's all too obvious. Our courts protect the criminals, not their victims.
Norman Bates is judged, restored to sanity, and is ordered released forthwith.
It's 22 years later, and Norman Bates is coming home.
I own a motel not too far from here. And you'd be welcome to spend the night in one of the empty rooms if you'd like. Good night, Mary.
And he's back in business.
Who is this? My mother is dead. I'm telling you, there was a note on that wheel from my dead mother.
Norman, it couldn't be your mother. It had to be someone else.
But trust her. She would never do anything to hurt me. No. She'll kill you. I know she will. No, I won't do that. You can't make me kill her.
22 years later, Norman Bates is home. Psycho 2.
It's starting again.